Hi, Algebra 2 students. Today I want to talk to you about the difference between vertex form and standard form. So when we talk about quadratic equations, remember quadratic equations means it's an x squared equation. Typically we're going to write that in one of two forms, either vertex form, which is what we talked about yesterday, where we see the parentheses and we have x plus or minus something in parentheses squared, or standard form. And standard form is where we have it written out, there's no parentheses. In standard form, puts our x squared, our x, and then our constant term in this order. It could be f of x equals or y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A, b, and c will all just be numbers. So a, b, and c are numbers. Now, vertex form was really nice yesterday because it was really easy to find the vertex, hence why we call it vertex form. It's called vertex form because it's really easy to find the vertex. Standard form, not so easy to find the vertex. Standard form, it'll be really easy to find the y-intercepts, to find the x-intercepts. It might be easy to tell concave up or concave down, but finding the vertex is going to be tough, and we're going to see that together in some of our examples. So standard form is always going to be the x squared term, the x, and then the c. So with standard form, there's some things that we have to know. So this box down here deals entirely with standard form, and these are facts that you need to memorize. I'm not giving this box to you on a test. I'm not giving you any formulas. You have to memorize this. Now the easy one starts with this. If a is greater than 0, so in other words, if the number in front is positive, the graph opens up. It's concave up. And if a is less than 0, read that as negative, the graph opens down. Okay? So if that number in front is positive, it's concave up. If that number in front is negative, it opens down. Up and down only deals with the number in front of the x squared being positive or negative. So that was pretty easy, right? Like that one you can look at, you're like, yeah, life is good. We got this. We're down pat. The other one I'm going to tell you right now that's also pretty easy is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is just whatever the constant is. In standard form, the y-intercept is whatever c is. So our y-intercept is 0c. So that one's pretty easy as well, okay? Now, remember, standard form and vertex form are different. The number added at the end is not the y-intercept if it's in vertex form. So this is only true if it is standard form. The constant at the end is going to be the y-intercept. So far, so good, right? Now, let's get to the slightly more complicated ones. The axis of symmetry is the line x equals negative b divided by 2a. So to find the axis of symmetry, we have to plug in the number in front of x and the number in front of a into this formula. This formula you have to memorize. The x-coordinate of the vertex is that same formula. It's negative b divided by 2a. So that formula is really important. It's how we find the axis of symmetry. Then it's how we find the x-coordinate of the vertex. Now the y-coordinate is going to be really tricky. The y-coordinate is f of negative b divided by 2a. And what that means is we're going to plug the x-coordinate back into the original problem to get the y-coordinate. You'll see that on the example. What this is saying here is plug this number in, whatever we got for the x, plug it back into the original problem to get the answer. Now, I'm going to skip a couple of the examples. I think some of the examples make a little bit more sense to see on the video. You should copy down everything, though, from the note sheet that's filled in online. So copy everything, even though I'm only doing a couple of them in the video. I can't do them all just for the sake of time. I can't redo the entire lesson, but I'm going to try to pick 2 examples that I think will give you an idea of the big points from class today. So the first one I want to look at is on the back of your note sheet, and it is this problem right here. So y equals x squared minus 4x plus 5. The first thing I think you should do is say, hey, it's in standard form, so that's good. A is 1. That's the number in front of x squared. It's 1. B is negative 4. And C is 5. Now, why is that helpful? Well, it's going to help me plug things into the formula and help me answer some questions. Since A is positive, since 1 is positive, the number in front of x squared, that means I'm concave up. Since C is 5, the constant at the end is 5, that means that my y-intercept is the point 0, 5. So my y-intercept is going to be right here. So far, so good, right? Now, this is the part that's going to be the trickiest, the most challenging. I'm going to come over here to do it. To find the axis in the x-coordinate of the vertex, I use this formula. X equals negative b divided by 2a. So I plug in. I have negative, plug in negative 4 for b, divided by 2 times 1. Notice negative in front and then negative 4. Negative, negative makes that positive 4 divided by 2, or 2. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 2. So my vertex is the point 2 comma something. Now, how do I get that something? To get that something, I'm going to plug 2 into the original problem. So I go back to the original problem, my function y, I'm going to plug 2 in. So it's going to be 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 5. Well, if you do the mental math or you do your calculator, you're going to get 4 minus 8 plus 3. Sorry, plus 5. That was a plus 5 at the end. So 4 minus 8 is negative 4, plus 5 is 1. That is the y-coordinate of the vertex. So the vertex is the point 2, 1. Now, I can actually kind of do the rest of my graph here, because here's what I know. I know that this is a U-shaped graph that is opening up and that it's symmetric. So if this point is 2 away from the axis of symmetry, go 2 in the other direction, and I get my next point. And then fill in the U to make our U-shaped graph. Now, concave up, y-intercept were pretty easy. Axis of symmetry came from the formula. And then to get the y-coordinate, I had to plug 2, whatever I got for x, back into the original problem. Let's do one more of these together, and then you can copy the rest of the problems from the notes. So in this problem, I look at it and I say, okay, I always start with concave because it's the easiest. And that negative right there, that negative in front of the x, that tells me it's opening down. We're concave down. Then I do the y-intercept because it's the next easiest thing. And the y-intercept is 3, right? I'm adding 3 at the end, so my y-intercept is the point 0, 3, which is right there. Now to answer the rest of this, I label what is A, B, and C. So A was negative 1, B was negative 2, and C was 3. So to find the axis of symmetry in the x-coordinate, I use my formula negative b divided by 2a. So negative, negative 2 divided by 2 times negative 1. A lot of negatives in this problem, right? Negative, negative makes that positive 2 divided by negative 2. And so I end up with an axis of symmetry of x equals negative 1. Now, my vertex is negative 1 comma something. What's that something? To figure it out, I plug that back into the original problem. So negative 1 squared minus 2 times negative 1 plus 3. So I took the x-coordinate and plugged it into the original problem. That's going to give me negative 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is positive 4. So my vertex is at the point negative 1, 4. So I put that point right here. Now, if this point was down 1 over 1 to the right, symmetry tells me I should go down 1 over 1 to the left to get my next point, and then draw a U-shaped graph that's opening down. So this graph is opening down, has a vertex at negative 1, 4, is symmetric about the line x equals negative 1, and has a y-intercept at 0, 3. I hope this helps make these examples make a little bit more sense. Definitely do the one in the middle. See if you can even try it on your own, and then copy the notes, see if they matched up. And then I think the problems down at the bottom, hopefully you can figure them out by looking at the notes. If you can't, let me know, and I can try to make a short video for 1 or 2 of those as well. Thanks for watching. Communicate with me if you need any additional help. Thanks.